Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session of Talking Tech, Women and Girls in ICT. My name is Jennifer Okoro, a UI/UX designer and a graduate of chemical engineering. And today, I'm delighted to be having a discussion about tech and tech careers with Joanne Esmyot, the Digital Transformation Director for Africa at Public Digital. To begin this session, I'm going to introduce you to Afrotech Girls, a non-profit organization here in Nigeria that is set to increase the population of girls and women in STEM. It was founded in 2015, and since then, we've been making great strides in reaching our goals. Talking Tech is a series celebrating girls and women in tech. It's been recorded all over the world between Girls in ICT 2020 and Girls in ICT Day 2022. Girls in ICT Day is an international day marked on the fourth Thursday of each April. The objective is to create a global environment that encourages young women to consider studies and careers in the field of ICT. The Talking Tech series is brought to you by the ITU, the UNICC, and the Office of the UN Secretary General, General's Envoy on Youth, and is in support of Equals, the global partnership for gender equality in the digital age. Hi, Joanne, and thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Jennifer. Very happy to be here and very, very glad to be part of this initiative from ITU and the UN, which I think is a really great initiative.
Thank you. So to kick things off, would you mind introducing yourself a bit and talk about what your current job is all about?
All right. So, well, I'm based in Mauritius. I'm Mauritian and I'm based in Mauritius, actually. I've graduated in 2005 from the University of Mauritius with a BSc in Computer Science with Multimedia. And straight after, I joined Ceridian, where I worked as a software test engineer to start off. And then I spent around 11 years at Ceridian in many different roles, doing various things. And my last role being a manager there. And then after that, I left Ceridian and I spent a year and a half at Middlesex University as head of IT. And then I joined the National Computer Board, which is a parastatal institution in Mauritius under the Ministry of Information, Communication, Technology and Innovation. And so I led the National Computer Board for 3 years and then joined Public Digital in November of last year, where I'm working as a director right now in the international development sector. So the international development sector focuses mainly on Africa and Asia Pacific. And my role is to work on some of the strategic client engagements, mainly in those regions, working with senior leaders in international organizations like UNDP or governments, and to help them with their digital transformation initiatives. And so what we do is really help these organizations to build the skills, the capability that they need to be able to improve their digital maturity and to be able to be empowered to lead their digital transformation initiatives in their medium to long term themselves. So that's in a nutshell what I do.
Wow. That's great. That's really great. Thank you. And when and how did you get into tech?
Right. So I guess as a young girl, I was sort of interested and passionate about very different things, actually. So when I was in high school, I was always very passionate about science. But I was also extremely passionate about arts. So in high school, I studied both science and arts, which is quite unusual, especially in my country. So when I finished my studies and I had to choose when I finished high school and I had to choose what to study at university, I chose to do computer science with multimedia because I felt it was a bit it took like the best of both worlds, if you like. So computer science clearly have a science angle to all of that. And then the fact that I was also doing multimedia that involved a lot of graphic design, video animation, virtual reality. And so that's a space where you get to be really creative. So that's how I got into computer science. And then, as I said, straight after university, I joined Ceridian, and that's where my career really started.
Okay. That's really nice. I studied chemical engineering in school, and that was in 2015. But I decided to be an engineer when I think I was still in secondary school, and some women in engineering came over to my school and they started talking about their different sects of engineering. And at that point, I didn't really know what I wanted before then. But when I heard these women talk, I was like, wow, so women can really be engineers and own it. I mean, these women are talking with conviction, they're talking with passion. And I was like, I really want to do this. So I went ahead to research. I studied different aspects of engineering on the internet, and I saw chemical engineering as something that was really, really going to be good for me. I was fascinated with how different processes came together to produce a final or finished product. And I was like, I'm going to be a chemical engineer. And here I am today. I graduated last year and it's been awesome. Still the same last year, I got into tech. I got into tech last year as a UI UX designer. And since then, it's really been awesome because they might not really be exactly the same thing, but I find that I can be a chemical engineer and a UI UX designer too, because I have passion for the two subjects. So I'm really, really comfortable with my niche. Of course, I'm looking to upskill, but right now I'm a UI UX designer. So back to you. What was your path from then to now? Like, you've said that you after you graduated, you worked in different places and now you are public digital. So what has been your path from then till now?
I guess it's been, I'm somebody who likes to explore different things. So I guess what has sort of motivated some of my career choices has been really the opportunities that came up to explore new things. Even if I spent quite a long time at Ceridian, I was very curious to sort of get into new things. I started in software test automation. That is something very niche and very specific. But then I went into all the different aspects of the software development lifecycle, from development, testing, support, implementation. So I really did everything I could possibly do when I was at Ceridian. And then from then, it's been really the 3 different experiences I had since then are really completely different. So I went into the education sector for a while, experienced different things there. Then obviously worked in the public sector for 3 years, leading a public institution in Mauritius. And for me, like, making the move to public digital was, again, to get the best of both the private sector and the public sector, if you like, because I've worked a lot in the private sector and I like the agile and dynamic pace from the private sector. And also their sort of international outlook to it, because I worked in 2 organizations in the past that have a sort of international presence. So I really enjoyed those parts. But then when you work in the public sector, you can impact a lot of people's lives. And that's what I really enjoy about working with the public sector. So at Public Digital, I get the chance to do both. To work in a company that's really very open, agile, and really dynamic, fast-paced. At the same time, working for public sector, working for public organizations, and have a huge impact on people's lives. So yeah, that's really been the thread, I guess.
It's basically like having the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So tell me about what you like best about your job right now.
So what's really amazing with public digital is when I first learned about public digital, I was really attracted to the positions of the organization and the culture. And I almost felt like when I first joined, I almost felt like the culture is too good to be true, but actually it's true. People are really smart, really open, and I really like the agile ways of working. But I guess what I like most is I'm from Africa, and I've always strongly believed that Africa has got loads of talent and potential. And I guess it's true for all the countries in the world. I don't think like there's sort of, I think there's talent everywhere basically. And what I like with the way we work is like, we don't go in an organization or we don't go into a country and sort of tell people what to do or do something for them and just give it to them. That's not the way you work. We really partner and collaborate with clients. We really collaborate with all those countries and all those organizations. And what we do is we sort of promote local talents all the time. So we stress on the importance of building local talents, and we help those organizations build teams. We train them, we coach them, and we're really about empowering people and really promoting those sort of local communities and local talents, and that's what I really like. It's really trying to work with all these different countries to unlock the potential. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I believe that Africa has loads of talents too. Yes, every country in the world does have talent, but I believe in Africa specifically. And yeah, that's great. So can you share an example of 2 things that you have done in your tech career that you're particularly proud of?
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll take 2 things that I've done at the National Computer Board, my previous job. You know, I what I like about tech is like you can use technology for good, and I think that's what we should do. I think like technology should work for people and not the other way around. And yeah, and really, what's very close to my heart is trying to use digital and using technology to be more inclusive, you know, to bridge like divides and gaps between people. And so the first probably story I'm going to talk about is a mentoring program that we did for women entrepreneurs in Mauritius. So a lot of women entrepreneurs in Mauritius, they don't have the digital skills. So they rely a lot on traditional means to do business. And with the pandemic, that's been really difficult because with several lockdowns and sort of challenges that the pandemic has brought, like doing business the traditional means is no longer possible. So that mentoring program really worked with those women entrepreneurs to sort of take them from where they were. And some of them like never used a computer, didn't know how to use a mouse. I was a bit myself surprised when I saw that. But we really took them from wherever they were in their journey on digital. And worked with them and mentored them up to the point where they could have an online presence, whether it's on social media or on a website, start to use those digital channels to sell their goods and services. And that was really important to them because it allowed them to their business really to survive in these difficult situations. So that's probably the first thing I would say I'm really proud of. The other story is actually when I started in my first year at the National Computer Board, we were starting 3D printing and digital fabrication in Mauritius. So at a point in time, we set up our first, well, not the first, but probably our second 3D printing center, but the first one was really small. So this one was like at a decent scale. The first one that was at a good scale, I would say. And So basically, when we set up that center, we worked with two NGOs that sort of work with visually impaired children. So it's like they have schools for visually impaired children. And basically we use 3D printing to produce bright kits for them, games and stuff that the kids could play with all the bright stuff on it. So that was really great. And one of the school directors was present at the opening of the 3D printing center, and she was really emotional on that day, and that really sort of touched my heart, and it sort of told me, like, this is the reason I do this work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. I think I have an idea of how you would have felt when that woman approached you and told you that, because it's really satisfying doing something like that for what we consider a minority, visually impaired children, disabled people, even women, in quotes, are considered a minority in tech. So you've really done a lot. Thank you very much. Do you have what lesson have you learned on your way? And I think I would like you to share that. Have you learned any lesson on your way through your journey in tech?
Right. I think, well, I must say that my path has been everything but easy. It's been really, really lots of, ups and downs, many challenges along the way. And I guess that's more or less the same thing for most women who sort of lead in tech. I don't think this is something which is very specific to me, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, very early in my career, I had people telling me, you're too emotional, you'll never get promoted, you have to sort of leave your feelings out of the door when you come to work. And that's not me. So I for a long time, I felt like maybe that's true and maybe I won't get anywhere. But actually at some point, I just took a step back, and for the great leaders that inspire me, and I didn't see them as emotionless people. I saw them as actually very humane and very wholehearted people. So I realized that being true to yourself and being authentic are actually strengths, they're not weaknesses. I think great leaders are not scared to show that they're vulnerable at times. Like they're just upfront and they're just who they are and okay with that. And that really helped me. That really helped me sort of break some of the apprehensions that I might have and some of the internal barriers I had. And then the other thing is, like, when you become a public figure, it's always very hard. And I had lots of questions from people saying, like, how did I get the role? How did I get there? And I guess, like, it's very hard because it's very hard to hear, because I don't think they would ask that question if it was a man. As if, like, because you're a woman, you can't be qualified, you can't be smart enough for the role. But as much as I met people who tried to bring me down, as much as I met detractors, I also had lots of people who believed in me. And I guess, there's this saying that says, behind every great man, there's a woman, or something like that.
Yeah.
I think the reverse is equally true, to be fair. Like, I'm married for more than 15 years. I have 2 kids, and without the support of my family, I would really not have had a successful career. I mean, they've been with me through the good and bad times. And even outside, my family and friends, I met a lot of people in my career who actually believed in me, and sometimes believed in me more than I did myself. And so I guess the motivation has been value those people, really value those people who trusted me and who believed in me, and focus on that, and rather than wasting my energy thinking about those who are detractors. So yeah, that's probably the lessons that I learned from my own experience.
Okay. I think a lot of women in tech would say almost the same thing. Like, I'm very sure a lot of women in tech have similar experiences. So yeah, I think I can pick one or two things from that, and our audience definitely would too. So since this series is about girls and women in tech, do you have any career advice for us?
Great question. Actually, you might think that there's a lot of factors in society and in the world we live in that's sort of not suited for women and not suited for women to lead in tech. And that's probably very true. But I guess from my experience, the biggest challenge you face is not outside, but within yourself, like changing the way you see yourself, changing how confident you are, and changing like your own, almost allowing yourself to be successful, having the courage yourself to sort of push your limits. When I see you like really starting in your career, it sort of takes me back of when I graduated. I guess if we had the same chat at that point in time, and you told me that I would have sort of reached halfway of where I am today, I would have said you're totally crazy. I would never have believed it a second. I sort of, I felt at that point in time that the leaders who I was like looking up to, the people that the role models that were inspiring me, I thought they had superpowers, as in, they were out of this world and they were like superheroes, and it's something I couldn't do. Actually, they're not. I guess I've sort of met a lot of senior leaders, met a lot of people from international organizations like ITU or Council of Europe, or lots of sort of very brilliant and very smart people. Even at Public Digital, there's so many smart people that is sometimes intimidating. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like, all these people are just human beings like you and I. And yeah, it's really about sort of trying to break your internal barriers and sort of believing in yourself and having the courage to push your limits and to always be willing to explore your potential, to go further. I think we're all, each and every one of us, we're sort of born to make an impact in this world. There's so many good things and so many great things that we can do. So really, if I have probably one piece of advice, is make your life count, make an impact in this world.
I will definitely follow that advice. Thank you. So I think I've asked you a couple of questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, yeah, one thing that sort of I've been sort of intrigued about since the beginning. Yeah, like you said, you've been studying chemical engineering, and then you moved into tech. You've moved. You're working as a UX UI designer, from what I understand. So, I'm just curious to know what prompted that change, like from chemical engineering to a career in tech.
Okay, so I think I started getting interested in tech during the pandemic, the lockdown period. We're not going to school, we're at home, and I didn't want to sit on my hands and do nothing. But I actually started learning how to do front-end web development, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. But honestly, I just felt like coding wasn't for me. I didn't really feel comfortable in that space. It was great while it lasted, but it wasn't really for me. So I started to look for careers in tech that were non-coding, and I came across UI UX. I think that was January last year. Then I said to give it a try. I did an internship on UI UX, and I was seeing designs that people were doing, and they were all looking so functional and beautiful. And I was like, oh, can I really do something like this? I mean, if I look at what I did last year, January, one of my designs I did last year, January, it looked so tacky, and to me now, I'm laughing over it. But then I felt like, oh, I've designed something great. So in the course of 1 year, I know I've greatly improved in my journey in tech. I'm still interested in chemical engineering. I'm still going to work in that field. But UI UX for me is something that I feel like I can just do it. I want to combine it. I want to be a superwoman in quotes, doing UI UX and chemical engineering. I definitely know I can combine both of them. And I've had inspiration from several women like you. I know I can do it.
Right. That's amazing. Like, I was really curious to know what sort of motivated that move for you, because it's sometimes very difficult to convince young girls to go into science altogether. So having somebody who's gone into science and already sort of changed path is really amazing. But yeah, I think you're certainly in an area that is sort of gonna grow in the future. And maybe one hint from me, you could try to explore user research as well, because I think it's sort of fundamental to design, and it sort of works in all sorts of environment, you know, understanding the user's needs, I guess, even if you go in wherever, chemical engineering or wherever for that matter, it's a skill that's really important. So maybe that's something you can try.
Yeah, user research is actually part of user experience. I mean, you can't really design an app or a product without knowing what the user wants. So it's definitely part of a very, very fundamental part of user experience, actually.
Yeah, yeah. But some people make that as their career, like to be a user researcher. Yeah. And that's sort of, I think, a bit of sort of requires different skills.
Of course. Thank you very much. I will definitely explore a career in user research.
But that's just a tip. That's just a tip.
Thank you. So, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, maybe. What are your plans for the future? Like, how is it in your country, and how do you see yourself probably contributing?
Okay, so right now I'm going for my National Youth Service Corps. It's an orientation program for recent graduates, and I think it lasts for a year. So when I'm done with that, hopefully I would like to start working in a chemical engineering field, oil and gas, oil servicing, or pharmaceuticals. And I definitely want to do a research paper on a sector of chemical engineering that I'm passionate in. I'm still exploring my options. And I definitely want to do my master's while improving my UI UX design skills, hopefully find a way to balance it too, and definitely look into user research too.
Great, that sounds amazing. Really, I'm sure you're gonna be great whatever you do.
Thank you.
You seem so motivated and so up for it that I'm sure you're gonna succeed in whatever you do.
Definitely, I'm not going to stop until I do. Okay, so that wraps up today's section of Talking Tech, Women and Girls in ICT. Thank you so much, Joanne. I really enjoyed our chat today. And thank you, our viewers, for watching.
Thank you, Jennifer. Was really great talking to you today, and I wish you all the best in your career.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.